Who was the first African American woman to have a piece performed by a major orchestra? Well, today I want to tell you about an American organist, pianist, educator, and mostly composer by the name of Florence B. Florence was born in 1887 in Little Rock, Arkansas. She was born into a small but growing group of middle-class African Americans during the Reconstruction era in the South at this time. Her father was a dentist and her mother was a music teacher, a pianist, and had actually graduated from the conservatory in New England herself. So as a young child, Florence was exposed to music and she started taking lessons with her mother by only age 4. Now, by the age 11, she had already started composing her own pieces, and when she was only 14, she graduated high school as valedictorian. When she was only 15 years old, she enrolled into the prestigious New England Conservatory of Music in Boston. It was one of few conservatories actually in America that even allowed Black students to be enrolled. Despite that, she went ahead and told administrators and teachers that she was of Mexican heritage because this helped bypass a lot of prejudice, and apparently this is something I read that was done quite regularly. And this helped her to just focus on what she was there to focus on and just do her music. She was a double major in piano and in organ, but she also was taking theory and composition as well. In 1906, she graduated with honors and she was noted to be an exceptionally gifted student. Then she moved back to Arkansas where she started teaching. She became department head of music at a college and then she went to another college. And then she met an attorney by the name of Mr. Price, and they fell in love and they got married in 1912. They ended up having 2 daughters, and when she married him, she actually left her teaching position. She continued to compose piano pieces, chamber works, and just simple works on the side, always. In the 1920s, racial violence escalated in the South a lot, including lynching, and she, like many other people, decided to leave. So she and her husband and 2 daughters in 1927 moved to Chicago. Chicago at this time was a vibrant center for Black cultural life, so she had a lot of exposure that she hadn't had before. Now, she already had a great degree, but she decided to take the opportunity while she's now there to learn even more. She takes different classes at different places, including Chicago Musical College and the American Conservatory of Music, and she is also exposed to different music styles that she had heard but never really been able to study or really look into as deeply, including spirituals, jazz, blues, and then also Black church traditions, and she was really looking at the technical part of it now. So she's removed from the dangerous South, but now her husband starts being abusive, both physically and also financially, and so at some point she kicks him out and they get a divorce, and she ends up raising the 2 girls by herself as a single mom, and she supports them by playing organ, by playing piano for silent movies, by teaching lessons. So through her music she's able to make enough, not a ton, to raise her 2 daughters. Another thing she does is write jingles for advertisements, and she never stops composing despite these hardships and despite there's so much going on. She just continues to compose, and as she has had more exposure to different music, you can see in her music how that changes as well. In 1932, she submits a composition, a Symphony 1 in E minor, into this composition competition by the Wanamaker Foundation, and she wins, which actually helps put her on the map. Not only does this bring her national attention, the next year, in 1933, the Chicago Symphony performs this piece. And that, if nothing else, truly put her on the map. This is something that had never happened before. It was the first time a symphony written by an African-American woman was performed by an established, well-respected symphony. And it was met with thunderous applause, great success, because the piece by itself on its own merit is fantastic. Miss Price developed her own music, and this was a wonderful blend of the Western European classical tradition, and she blends that with the African American styles that she has been exposed to at this point. And this is probably a very true American classical music form. Her music a lot of times incorporates these spiritual traditions and rhythmic patterns of African American dance, call response textures, but then also these lush romantic textures. She composed over 300 works. She wrote symphonies, she wrote chamber pieces, she wrote songs, she wrote just concertos, she wrote piano pieces, she wrote spiritual arrangements. She wrote every kind of music that she could, and she did it all very well. Despite her talent and her major achievements, she continued to face systematic racism within the classical music world. Many orchestras would only perform so many pieces by African American composers, and that was quickly filled, or they wouldn't at all. She never stopped composing, and she was happy when it was performed. In 1953, when she was 66 years old, she had a stroke and she passed away. This was very immediate, it wasn't expected. And at that point, a lot of her music just kind of, it didn't disappear, but it fell away, and there didn't seemingly a lot of interest for it. Until 2009, she had a home, like a place where she'd stay in the summer sometimes, and she composed there a lot. And in 2009, they found all these pieces that she had written that had not been performed at all or had been forgotten, and it brought attention back to who this woman was and what she had brought to us listeners. Florence Price's life is a great reminder that beautiful art can come even through hardships. She faced racism, poverty, abuse, and exclusion, but then she continued to compose music that was filled with beauty and dignity and hope. One of my favorite pieces by her is called Adoration, and this is for cello and piano, but there are many pieces, and you can find them online many places. Please go and listen to something by Florence B. Price.